So far we discussed questions related to numbers like even numbers, odd numbers. We had certain range of numbers given to us. Now we are going to discuss questions related to dice. You know very well this because every teacher and every year you talk about this dice and coins. Okay, so let's start finally. Dice. Now we do play snakes and ladders and Ludo as well. And we know we toss a die, right? And we wish that we should get 1, we should get 3, we should get 4, depends on the situation. And we are so excited to see the numbers on the dice, and sometimes we get disappointed as well. Sometimes we are happy because we see the same number that we wanted to see on the dice. So all the fun aside, let's focus on the dice now. So we know there are 6 numbers on the dice. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is the last number. So far we dealt with the ranges like 1 to 80, but we have 1 to 6 over here. Okay, that's it. Let's start with the questions now. We'll deal with the 2 dice as well, 1 die. We are going to start with the 1 die for a while. So let's start. Find the probability of getting an even number when a die is thrown once. Okay, so we need to get the probability of getting even number. Even number. What is the probability of getting the even number when we are throwing a dice? So first of all, let's write the how many outcomes are possible. Either you can get 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Any of that number only we can get it. Now what we are interested in? We are interested in getting the even number. Even number we know very well, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers which are present in table of 2. Very easy to remember. So 2 is there, then 4 is there, and finally 6 is there. 1, 3 and 5 are the odd numbers. So if we have case of the odd numbers, we would have circled 1, 3 and 5. But we have the case of even numbers. So we are going to circle 2, 4 and 6. Simple. Okay, so how many favorable outcomes? So favorable outcomes I can write. Favorable outcomes are 3. And what is the total number of outcomes? Simple, count all of them, that is 6. So let's write total number of outcomes, it is 6. Simple. So let's get the final answer. Probability of getting the even number. So probability of even number is equal to how many favorable outcomes? 3, and total outcomes are 6. So 3 ones are and 2s are. So 1 by 2 means 50%, right? Half of it. Half time you can get the even number. If you want to do same for the odd numbers, I think same answer will come because if we take the odd numbers, total outcomes are 1, 3 and 5. Again 3 outcomes, 3 over 6. You do cancellation and you get 1 by 2. So this is the most basic question about it. Let's move on to the different questions. Let's discuss second question. Okay, when a die is thrown, find the probability of getting an odd number less than 3. Very simple. So let's start with the first of all outcomes. How many outcomes do we have when we throw a die? So we have 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Done. Now what we want to find? We want to find the probability of getting odd number which is less than 3. See carefully, conditions are given. First of all, we need to get the odd number like we discussed previously. There are 3 odd numbers over here when we talk about the dice, which is 1, 3 and 5. Sorry, not 6. So there are 3 odd numbers over here. And one more condition given over here, that number should be less than 3. So we cannot take 5, okay, cross it. Can we take 3? No, we cannot take it because it is given less than 3. So we cannot take 3 either. So what's left? Only one number. So how many favorable outcomes do we have it? Only 1. And total number of outcomes? 6 as always. So let's write the answer. So here let's write over here only that favorable outcomes over total outcomes. Total outcomes. That is 1 by 6. Why 1? Because there is only one number. Remember, don't get confused over here that I have not written directly that one. I have written one outcome. Only one is possible. One number is possible out of all of them, right? For that reason I have written 1. So the final answer is 1 by 6 when we get the probability of odd number less than 3. Let's move to the next question. Let's do one more question. A die is thrown once. Find the probability of getting at most 2. Okay, now that is interesting. What at most? Let's write first of all outcome before we move on to that word. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. These are the possible outcomes when we throw a dice. Now what we are interested in, let's write over here that probability of at most 2. At most 2 is question mark. Some of you already know the meaning of this. Those who don't know, let me explain. At most means we are talking about maximum. Maximum 2 is allowed, not more than that. So remember conditions over here. At most 2 means what? Lesser or equal to 2, right? 2 is accepted and less than 2 is accepted. Now see 3, 4, 5, 6, they all are more than 2. So these numbers are not accepted. 2 is accepted and 1 less than 2 it is. Remember, okay, 2 is accepted and less than 2 is accepted. So 1 is also accepted. So how many favorable outcomes? Let's write favorable outcomes, that is 2, 1 and 2. Total number of outcomes, now that's very easy. Total number of outcomes, that is 6. In the case of dice, total number of outcomes are always 6. When we talk about one die, remember, not about 2. Okay, so let's move on to the final answer. Probability of getting at most 2. Probability of getting at most 2. That is, what is the favorable outcome? 2 and total number of outcome 6. That's 1s are and 3s are. So 1 by 3 is the probability of getting at most 2, maximum 2. We cannot go more than that. Less than that is accepted. So that is the meaning of the term at most and how we relate with the die. Let's move on to the next question.